Okay. Hello, everyone. You are here one more time with Sports 101. Today, our guest is Laura Moreno. She is acting CEO and Chief Product Officer at Playformance GG, a company using AI to help and shape the future of esports talents and career. Laura has built a business across technology, innovation, investments, bring like a unique perspective on entrepreneurship. So, Laura, welcome to the Sports 101. As always, we say, like I did a small introduction, but no one better than you to introduce yourself. Who is Laura? Tell me a little bit more about yourself, please.
Thank you. Obrigada, Marcelo. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I need to learn more Portuguese, by the way. Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. Actually, it's a pleasure to be honest, because having you in front of me and yeah, and the esports industry and everything. I'm very new here, only 2 years so far, so I feel grateful. So yes, I'm Laura. I'm from Spain. I've been living and working in Sweden, Spain, and now in Saudi Arabia. So very interesting mix. And I've been entrepreneuring like for the last, I don't know, 15 years, and I also combine it with the corporate world. So right now, my last venture, and maybe yeah, we will talk more about this, right? My last venture is in esports, and I'm the acting CEO and, as you said, CPO of Playformance. So yeah, my background, I'm coming from the UX perspective, UX designer, etc. So, but in my heart, I would say I'm an entrepreneur. So I love starting new projects, making them grow, make some impact, so create cool things and have fun. So yeah, this is it more or less.
Right, right. And Laura, you usually do some chronological question here, so I'm going to be like really back from your career. Uh, I imagine that you have like a bachelor and program that you have studied. What you did for starting your career? What was your bachelor? What was education?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I've studied architecture. I'm an architect, so it has nothing to do actually. But I love, in general, I think it's related because I love design, drawing, illustrations. But at the same time, architecture can be a bit technical as well. So the engineering part. So this is how I started, and then I gradually went into interior design. So it was more design, pure design, and then graphic design. So that's how I just yeah. But it was architecture in Spain, in Madrid, a few years ago.
Oh my God, this is crazy because I usually just say that the only career that it's possible is esports and games. Yes, I have met a lot of people who like one of our co-hosts, she's Flavia, and she's a biomedic, and she doesn't work with biomedics. She works just with esports, and it's so funny because in esports they started in other parts of the life, then they got interested in games and they started to work in games.
Yeah.
And you said that you did architecture. How that, like the game sport, I usually to say that the dark side of the world. How you got interested in that? Have you played any games or your son something?
Yeah. Well, I don't want, because now I'm working with a lot of gamers, real gamers. So I don't want to call myself a gamer, but I play games. I'm Nintendo Switch player. So probably if you are a gamer, you would say, okay, whatever you can call this whatever. But I've started when I think I was 10 years old or something, with a Sega Mega Drive. So and then PlayStation 1 and everything, and some computer games back then. It was very, of course, different world, different moment. When you needed to have some advice, or to get to know how to pass to the next level, you need to buy a magazine, right? So of course, different world. Now ChatGPT will help you. It's not as fun, I would say. It's easier in that sense. But for career, like you said, it's very interesting, because as an entrepreneur, as I was saying, you are normally, this is how when I talk, because I know a lot of them and I talk a lot with them, you are normally passionate about, again, starting something, creating a project, developing a project, making it grow, working with others, right? So to see your little baby or project growing, that is the beautiful part. So normally it doesn't matter, no, but it doesn't matter more or less on which field you go. So, but esports in general or gaming, I get connected to this because of another project that maybe we can do another podcast another day, but this is about remote racing experiences. Very, very cool. It's mixing the digital and the physical world. But this one, the one that I'm currently working today, it was thanks to my business partner. He's now my friend, my brother. He's amazing, and he was a visionary some time ago. He's one of the fathers, as they call him. He's from Riyadh, from Saudi Arabia, and he has been in the Saudi Esports Federation. So he was one of the fathers of the esports as we know them in Saudi Arabia. And I
Right.
remember when you shared the story some months ago, yeah, almost 1 year ago or something. 1 year, yeah, it was. The way he was telling about the story, when you see a person smiling and so passionate about and believing so much in it got me like, it got me really. It was like, okay, this is really cool. This is really interesting. And normally when you have started or founded different projects and different ventures, after some years or some experience, of course, you know how to differentiate what is more interesting or what has more potential. Of course, you can be wrong, but normally you have this skill already. So I immediately saw, okay, this is really powerful. Gaming is a very, very beautiful industry. It doesn't have yet all this infrastructure or support from government. So it's like, okay, this is really cool. It has all the things combined. An amazing partner, this ecosystem or industry that is booming and is happening and is there, but right, it doesn't have the support. So that's how. And also I love gaming design, etc. So I think that's how I started.
I have a lot of comments to do that. First of all, like the magazines I got this time, but in Brazil, someone who was a genius, he create like a number of telephone that you could call to them and they help you to pass in the time that you did, especially for the RPG. I think RPG is correct. Like it's a kind of game that is more harder to play. Then you call to this number and you say like, I'm in this part of the game. I don't know what I can do. And he say like, oh, you have to do something or have to go to everywhere. He was a genius.
Really?
I think he got a lot of money in that time because, like you said, you didn't have internet. To be honest, you had, but like it was really in the beginning. You didn't have like Google or something for searching. So usually you have to wait in the magazine because sometimes you buy the game that when it's launched. So no one
Yeah.
knew what's happening. So you have to waiting for the next month magazine to open and see what's happening. So and this magazine, it started my passion for the games because I remember that I I earned some money from my mom and I bought this magazine. And I don't know if you remember, it was normal you buy a magazine that you got one CD with a game or 1,000 games. And I got one which was Diablo. And I was so happy with that. It was like I played, I don't know, 1,000 hours of that game. It was crazy. It was crazy. Uh, and talking about the Switch, of course, Switch is a gaming too. They say that it's not a game. Of course, it is. For me, if you play anything, you are considered a game. There is a
Yeah,
difference between gaming and esports because esports more competition, but you are gaming. Uh,
exactly.
coming back a little bit more, you have always dreamed about be an entrepreneurship, working with technology, or it was something that just appeared in your life?
No, entrepreneurship, it was always in my, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I don't know, maybe, yes, 9, 10, 11 years old, I told my mom, I remember we were in our house and we were talking about when she told me, no, when you grow up, you were going to do something, or I don't know. And I told her, Mom, I want to be my own boss. I want to have my own company. I had it super clear. I don't know why it was funny probably to my mom was laughing, of course, because imagine to listen to your little kid saying you want to So she thought I was cute, I guess, and that's it. But I always had it. So I've always tried. It is true that I am a mom as well. I have my kid when I was 19 years old. So of course, this wasn't very in the plans, but I've always tried. So at the same time as I was working, so I had a lot of different ventures and projects. So very, very different. So it's always there. It's always there. And when I was in the corporate until some months ago, I was missing it so much. So I was like, okay, this is for me. This is my yeah. And technology, of course, I love it as well. So normally the projects are related, or it's either technology or I try to find very innovative things or very different ones, but it's not overlapping with others. Now I'm doing some investments on real estate, so nothing to do, of course, with technology, and I'm enjoying as well. But technology is normally there, yes. AI now, of course. So yeah.
So Andy, you did like architecture. Uh, so I imagine that your first professional experience, it was something within intern or something like that. How was that for you? And other question about architecture. You did architecture because it connects with your dream, like to be an entrepreneurship, because you can do your company, or it wasn't like that?
No, I guess when you are 18 or 17, finishing school is like, what do you? It's also very difficult. I wanted to do. I started actually telecommunications, and I dropped it because it was, for me, it was like learning Chinese. I don't know how it's learning Chinese, but probably it's difficult, no? So
Yes.
so I was like, what is this? No, architecture is because I loved really. I was a bit technical, but also I love drawing and the design part. So that's why I've started architecture. Not, but I knew that I wanted to do something on my own at the same time. So I don't know how I was connecting. To be honest, again, when you are 17, you need to decide these things, and it's not that easy. So. But what was the other question you asked me? The first one about architecture. Yeah, I studied architecture. I don't know if
Yes.
I.
Andy, how was your first
Yeah.
professional experience?
Yeah, actually, I was in the construction site for 3 years or 2 years and a half as an intern. Yes, so also it was the crisis here. Well, it was in the whole world, right? Right, the real estate crisis, etc. So it was not that easy to find a proper job, but I had a lot of fun. The construction site is really, really cool. So I was in the middle of, we were building a hospital, and we were building a big parking lot in the middle of a city. It was very cool, very interesting, very, very different from working with the computer and business. So very nice.
You are going to get there. I'm going to ask that question, but just before that, uh, the first thing you said about the architecture, you have an Instagram that you draw. I imagine that it's something that it's your passion. So I really imagine that. How was that for you? But okay, you are coming back, like you are working in architecture, and you have to change. You have no, like you change it for the IT and to be an entrepreneurship. There
Yeah.
is any particular project or moment that you remember that it was in this moment that I said, okay, I don't want to work with that anymore. I want to change my career.
Well, when I was in the construction site, I think it was two things at the same time. One was the crisis was there, so it was again very difficult to get a proper job. So, and I needed, of course, to have it, right. So I started thinking, okay, how can I change? And I wanted to go more into the interior design. I was thinking, and at the same time, I was thinking, because my passion was still there, like I want to have something on my own. So I wanted to establish my own studio. So I didn't manage at that time. I was, I don't know, imagine 23 or something. So, and with the super small kid, trying to find my way, investing a lot of time, a lot of hours working. But it is true that it was like when I started with the transition, and with interior design, I was, of course, back then you need to do more, also graphic design or 3D design. I was working a lot with 3D, and like you said, I love drawing, And back then I didn't draw with the computer or with the tablet, or well, it wasn't the option. It was with Wacom, but very. But I wanted to go into the digital world somehow. So I think that was the combination how I. Yeah, but like you said, sometimes you study something and along your, I mean, during your life, right? Or you decide or you have to change because of the circumstances. Of course, it was a combination of circumstances, and at the same time, I wanted to pursue, yeah, my
Yeah.
dreams or my passion.
I, I usually to complain about the education in Brazil, but that is something that I think it's a problem in the whole world. We are too young to decide what we want for life with 17 years old.
Impossible.
Yes, I usually make a joke because my wife is a doctor. She's a doctor, and I used to say that there is just one professional that they know what they want to do. That is a doctor, because usually when you are a doctor, you have dreamed the whole life being a doctor. You are work so hard in high school, but the other ones is you. For example, in Brazil, it's normal you do advertising because you are so communicative. So the person who is communicative in high school, they do advertising, but this
Yeah,
is because it's like a cliche word, it's more, you don't know if you want that. It's just like this is why I think in Brazil, I think in Brazil, no, in the world, the most general bachelor is business. So this is why in Brazil business is the one that most people go, because they know that you can go for everywhere, you know.
yeah,
It's because of that, because it's 17 years old. I make a
yeah.
joke that with 17 years old, I was eating sand in the beach. I didn't know anything. I was just a kid. My
You're
life
a
was
kid.
playing soccer.
Exactly. No, my daughter now, she's finishing her bachelor. But I remember it was 3 years ago when she was like, I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I was like, okay. One thing is, what do you like to study, and or what would you like to study, and what would you, or how do you imagine yourself working
Yeah.
with what? Or so, but like you said, if you want to be a doctor or a police, or there are some or a teacher, if but there are, and also these days as well, the professions or the careers are changing that much. Maybe you don't need a extensive bachelor. Maybe you need to. I think this is changing a lot. This is I'm seeing because I have now my kid, of course, and I'm more related with people that are around their 20s. So smaller kids. So I think that is very different these days, and probably they can do different stuff. They can do smaller things, and then they can switch probably. No.
Yes, yes, of course. And when you made that decision to make a transition for entrepreneurship, for AI, IT, what was the challenges you faced?
For me, I was thinking because maybe I can think when I jumped into graphic design or UX design, right? Because it was imagine interior
Yeah.
design, graphic design, and now UX. For me, I think I was seeing myself always as a. I think this is very normal. It can happen like a imposter syndrome or something. It's like,
Okay.
I didn't study this. Why should I do graphic design? Or I didn't study. No, but of course, you learn with experience and with years and with your life, right? You have experience in other stuff that gives you the power to understand what you are good at, or so you start overcoming these things and you say, okay, I can study something smaller, like I was saying, not a whole bachelor, and maybe with a master's or with 1 year studying, I can do something. So that was one thing. And the other, it was when I was starting with the masters that I did in UX. I was thinking as well, I was a bit overwhelmed with technology, and I think now it's even worse. So because I was thinking, oh my God, I cannot control everything, all these new things that are happening every day. It was when I think not, it was even before VR, but something like this, right? That we started to see all these things rapidly happening. But I think this is very normal thing, and I think if you are smart enough and if you are humble enough, you should be overwhelmed by the technology. It's okay, you don't need to control everything. You can control a little part, and then this is your expertise. So I think that was the tricky part for me, but of course, if you pursue it and if you go for it, you overcome it for sure.
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson that I got in this podcast is I'm talking to people that, to be honest, when I was young, I wouldn't dream about that. People who is really rich in the time of, when I say rich, no, don't say about money, but like with knowledge, experiences, and you know that because I told you before. But like our last question is like advices for you for person who is starting, and I would say like 90% of them they say like you are never going to be ready. So we start, you are going to do mistakes, you are going to learn in the process. So it's basically what you said now. Like you have like I think everyone has this imposter,
Right? At
this
some
is
point.
imposter, yes, at some point. But the podcast is something that it happens like you said. We start a podcast. It was in the Discord. I had to do like a lot of things to make it happen. It started like it, even though our first, I guess it was so good. It was Thiago Xisto. He's really famous here in Brazil, but I didn't have a briefing about him. It was I knew him because he was my friend. It was like so amateur. Now I have like more structure. I know the briefing. I have like designing. You are working out to things get better, you know. So
Yeah.
the thing is, the problem is I don't know it's because our fathers and our relatives or because of ourselves, you are afraid about fail, but fail is part of the process, basically that.
Yeah. And I totally agree. And I think you should always test or try, because otherwise you will never know. And of course, these days it's also very cliche, blah blah blah, about getting outside of your comfort zone. It's okay. Sometimes it's not enough with reading or watching tutorials, or it's just try it, and you will learn. You will fail, but you learn. At least this is how it works for me. I learn a lot by doing. And like you said, for example, for me, sorry, I'm not sure if I'm going out of your questions,
No, no, it's okay. Don't go. Just go.
but I just had like a little anecdote to share. Like 2 years ago or 1 year and a half or something, I needed to raise some capital for a project. I have no idea about finance, of course, the basic ones. When you have little companies, of course, you need to handle basic, right? But I mean, like raising capital, which is it's a different story. So I needed to raise money, and I started to see different courses, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just try to talk with people. I'm gonna see how it's done. And this is how I learned, basically, just by doing. So I remember my first conversation with an investor. He asked me, what is the ticket that you're looking for? And I didn't know what was even ticket. And ticket, of course, is the money that you're looking, that you need
Yes.
the amount of money that you need, right? And I was like, what do you mean by ticket? And is it a bad thing? No, but I this is how I learned. And I learned very, very quickly, because I managed to talk with a lot of investors, I did a lot of pitch decks, maybe good, maybe bad, but much more. I think it's much more rewarding, and you learn much more with this experience rather than, yeah, like going into a course. This is the perfect pitch deck. There is no perfect pitch deck, to be honest. So
Yes. And I'm looking for your resume and your LinkedIn. You work at Ericsson, right? As a UX. Then after that, you start to be an entrepreneurship. Do you remember your first company? How was that for you? Or your first project in that company? How was the feeling, the mistakes you had?
at Ericsson, you mean? How was the first project?
No, in after the Edison, when you start to be entrepreneurship, I think it's Saint Tomila, right?
Okay, okay, yeah, sorry. Yes, because before Ericsson, I also started different ventures and startups. So that was a different part. It was back in Spain. Then I went to Sweden. I was in Ericsson for 5 years.
Okay.
And yeah, and the last months of Ericsson, during weekends, I was talking with friends and working with these friends about centomila. Centomila is an Italian word, by the way. That's why it's called centomila. And for example, that one was very, very interesting and very challenging, because this is, for instance, in the Web3 world, and it's about blockchain. And I had no idea about blockchain as well. So But that was part of because the rest of the team and the founders are engineers, like AI engineers, blockchain engineers, experts. So they needed actually the outsider point of view and also the UX part, because the rest of the guys are technical. So that was very well, it is very interesting. But the way I started, it was very cool, because they needed actually like very, let's say, non-biased point of view from the blockchain. So don't think about technology, think about what we want to offer, think about the user experience, think about how can we solve this very complex thing and make it into a simple solution. So yeah, that one is very interesting. And also we are offering some solutions because now I'm very connected with the esports and gaming. We are offering solutions for the gaming and the esports industry to avoid all this toxicity, and to verify profiles, to help the users not to have all these scams, smurfs, all these things that are in the, unfortunately, in the gaming world. So with this one, probably we will have something cool and powerful to solve this problem.
No, I understand. And just before I continue, let me try to make my sister-in-law happy. Saint Omila in English, it was something like 100,000, right? Or
Yeah.
yeah. I know, because my sister-in-law, she's Italian. She met my brother-in-law in Spain. So I always try to learn something about Italian. Uh, and I had a mistake. Sorry, I didn't know that you had did one entrepreneurship. Then you went to Ericsson. I thought you went to Ericsson, and after you start to build companies. So how was that for you? Because you are doing something like by yourself with like a lot of creativity, a lot of freedom because it's your company. Then you come back to the corporative. How was that for you? Because even though you have like a lot of space and freedom in some companies, it's not the same because the company is not yours.
Yeah, it's very actually, I was when I was a freelancer, when I had my own agency, I was enjoying a lot, because like you said, you have all your freedom, you decide yourself, you have but I was back in Spain. I started also an agency, a pop-up store agency. We were the first ones in Spain, actually, designing and developing these projects. So, and then I was designing. That's when I changed to UX and etc. I had a lot of clients I developed a lot of projects related with design. But you know what I was missing? I was missing a team of designers. To be honest, when you're and depending on the country, because I learned a lot of things, different things in Sweden or in Spain. The design world a few years back in Spain wasn't that mature. So when I was building or developing products or projects for different clients, it was very designers still were seen or perceived as the one that puts the colors on some presentations. It's like, okay, I can put a lot of colors and they can look good, but user experience or design is much more than that. Is how can we help delivering a solution that is working good, that is user friendly, that has potential, that has meaning for the users or for the clients. So, and at the same time, Marcelo, are you still here?
Yeah, no, I am here. I'm just having problems with my camera. Let's start.
Okay,
Let's keep going.
perfect. So, and at the same time, we were in Spain. My husband, my daughter, and myself, my family, and we were always, because I was living in Sweden some years ago, like 13 or 15 years ago, for a few months, and back then, my husband and he was traveling a lot. We fell in love with Sweden, so we wanted to go back. So we said, it was COVID time. I think COVID time for everyone was like a milestone, right, in our lives. And we said, why don't we try to find a job in Sweden? And we moved there, and we tried to I don't know, live abroad a few years just to experience that. And that's how I found the job at Ericsson. And at the same time, because as I told you, I wanted to have a team, and so it was very rewarding. Even though the corporate world is not like 100% what I feel that I should be part of. I was really, really happy because I managed to, the team, we were 20 or 30 designers. It was very cool when you have from all over the world and you have this, you speak the same language eventually. So that's very, very rewarding. That was very rewarding for me. And I was leading like a huge project globally. I was in charge of the design system. So it was very, very cool. But eventually I again missed the entrepreneurship part or the my own ventures. So that's how I switched. I cannot hear you now. Yes, yes, now yes. And now I can hear you and I can see you. Okay. I hear you, but now your image is broken. Ah, okay. Well, this is maybe in timeline is not after that. It was like the last, yeah, during the last year, I was combining the corporate world. During the weekends, I was doing Centomila and I've started these real estate investments. And also, but this is very, very small on the side and performance at the same time. So it was more like combining my time. So if I have to put one thing after the other, it's more or less at the same time, depending on which part of the year it's more focusing on one or the other. But it is happening, still is happening today, Centomila as well, and Playformance. I'm fully focused right now on Playformance, but 2004 Capital and Centomila are the ones that I dedicate a little bit of time, but it's still going. So in terms of timeline, yeah, I would say it's parallel. Yeah. No, yes, I think you were into like ah yes, now yes. Yes. See. Yes.
You hear?
Yes, but now I think I hear you double because of the two.
Okay, just one more second. One more second.
Now yes, now yes.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Yes, perfect.
I saw it. Uh, okay, let's start the real important part now. This is why I make a lot of efforts to get my camera. Okay, you have a lot of experience. You had a lot of uh, fails, mistakes, and good things that you did in your life. Then you joined the dark side in esports to action like performance, performance GG. Uh, how was that for you? Because I would say like because I worked with that in esports, it's totally different for me from the whole corporative side. You have to be more adaptable. You have to like everything changes in seconds. You know, the first question I have about when you join the esports scene, how was that for you? How you understand the atmosphere and your challenges?
It was very, I don't know, it wasn't planned. So I think that was also very cool because when things are happening more organically, right? Or it's because they are more, yeah, like naturally happening. But what I saw, it's like, okay, because I knew more about this because of Playformance. I saw the potential, because what I was telling you, the infrastructure was missing. So I thought, okay, there are a lot of silos. There are millions of amazing players out there that they don't have the resources in order for them to evolve in their careers. There are also, because this is something that you cover a lot, there are a lot of ways of becoming a professional in the esports world, not only being a professional player. There are, look at me now, I'm in this world, and I'm not a player. So how can you end up here? And I was thinking, again, it was a combination, because I met my business partner, and he mentioned about this. I saw, because I believe he's a really visionary guy, and he had these things very clear. He transmitted this to me, like, I caught it very quickly, like, okay, this is needed. But at the same time, I think it was, like you said, or I said before, sorry, it was combined with my entrepreneurship, or my spirit as an entrepreneur. And lastly, what it was cool or interesting for me, it was that I was thinking, okay, for all these future players, all these small kids that are playing these days, how can we help them? Can we give them a little bit of a framework or a safer space, or can we make them, make probably work on their dream job in the next years, but in a good way? So a little kid in the middle of, I don't know, small city in Spain or in Brazil, how can they be found, right, or supported? So for me, that was very cool. So the dark side, no, I don't see the dark side, but I understand what you mean is totally different from
Yeah, no,
the.
I make a joke because like it's totally different from everything. Like, uh, because I think two things. I know it's about you, but I have to say, the first one, people doesn't know that I, even though I come from a really long time ago, in that time it didn't earn money, so I had like two jobs. I had to. It was a passion for me. It was like more a hobby than a real professional. Even when I was at Pen Game, which is like a giant in Brazil. I didn't receive a lot of money in that time. It's not because someone is don't wanna give me money. It's just because like a normal company, you have to be profit to pay your employees and everything. In that time, it was starting yet, so sometimes he helped me with like a mousey or keyboard, but just that. So I usually make a joke that it's a dark side, but because I don't see any corporative company that it's even close to esports. It's like maybe the general esports like soccer, volleyball, because you have passion. But even this one is not like that, because I interviewed some people from the real sports, and something, for example, that in my opinion is good, but in esports it's impossible. For example, I don't know if you see watch any kind of soccer Brazilian team, but I'm fan of Corinthians. It's one of the biggest teams in the world,
Mhm.
and if he lost a game and you make a joke about that, everyone
Ah,
is going to hate you. And in sports, you can do that, even though you have the passion. For example, Pen Game, I am a fan of Pen Game. When they lost a game, they make a joke about the loss. It's more like a family result,
yes.
it's something really nice. So when I say the dark side, it's just because like it's a funny way to say that it's different of everything.
Yeah, I actually, now that you mention more, if I understand, or if I see the dark side as a different thing, like you said, what I'm learning, or what I'm feeling, is very cool, because what I'm feeling is there is a sense of community, and it's very cool, because I'm talking with very very young players. Imagine, in the middle of Egypt, and I'm talking with really high top management people, from, I don't know, Esports World Cup Federation, or Saudi Esports, or Savi. So very corporate companies in the esports industry, and or coaches from Spain, but I see like a common pattern in all of this. So they are everyone is pushing towards the same. They have the same goal, even though it's competition, right? Because gaming is competition at some point, if you want. They all, I can feel this sensation of you belong to this community, and they are welcoming everyone. So again, for me, I'm very new, and everyone is treating me amazingly, and so it's the dark side is more bright than this.
The
Yes.
dark side, there is a lot of sun. It's
Yeah,
sunny.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
But I agree. It's like I imagine it. Of course, I don't know because I didn't try. That if I had to do something like I'm doing now with other kind of companies, like other environment, I wouldn't be so able to do because people are so receptive with me. They are really helping me. Like I said, I'm talking to people that I never dreamed. Like I talk to the CEO of Team Vitality. For my mom understand that I had to make a comparison like that it's like the CEO of Real Madrid. I usually to
Yeah,
say like it's the same thing for us, like the biggest team in the
exactly.
world, and I'm talking to the CEO of that. I would never imagine that. I know that the CEO. I imagine that the CEO of the Real Madrid that earning more money than CEO the Team Vitality, but for me it's the same. I don't care. I don't receive this money.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Uh,
probably if you want to reach out, it is true that this community, for example, I'm very related with the UX community, and it feels very, very much a community. But probably you cannot say, or you cannot compare, or it's maybe not that fair. But if I want to reach out to someone very high, as we see this high, like you said, in hierarchy in some companies in the UX world, maybe it's not that easy to, or these people are not as accessible or reachable as the ones in esports or gaming, as I'm experiencing this as well. So yeah, I agree with you. So that's another thing that keeps me moving forward and with a lot of motivation and energy. Yes, for sure.
right. And talking about your company now, uh, tell for us a little bit more about the performance. What's going to be because it's not launched yet, but what was going to be, what you expected from that.
Yes. Well, we are gonna release in less than in 1 month, more or less. So stay tuned. And yeah, actually, we are very. I feel very blessed and grateful because we have already like a long wait list, and we cannot give access to everyone. Marcelo, you will be one of the ones, of course.
Thank you, thank you.
you, you deserve it. You are an expert. So I need your feedback or your insights to tell me if this works or it doesn't work. So yeah, performance. What we are aiming to be, where we are working to be, like we say, the LinkedIn for esports. So as I was mentioning, how can you find this talent that is hidden all across the world? How can you discover these future pro players? How can you if you're a team and if you want to scout or if you want to find these players, you know how it works today, right? It's a lot of guessing, it's a lot of siloed data from here and here, a lot of investigating in Discord channels, in X. It's not that easy because, again, as I was mentioning, the infrastructure is missing. So we are aiming to be the LinkedIn for esports, as I was mentioning. But what it's interesting for this is we are building like two very powerful things. So imagine this social platform where you can find all these other peers in the industry, coaches, players, teams, etc. But what it's interesting is we are training our own AI models. So for each specific game, right now we have started with the titles from Esports World Cup. We are training for each game, for each title, our specific AI models. So if you're a Valorant gamer or Counter Strike or whatever, you can upload your gameplay, and then our AI will tell you your weaknesses, your strengths, how to become better. So it's much more than, it's beyond the stats, because today maybe it's a bit hard to say, but maybe your KD ratio is lying to you, right? This is pure stats, and sometimes the stats don't give you or don't tell you how to become a pro player, or how to be scouted, or how to do this and that. So this is what our AI is gonna, and also it's specific for each game, because of course, if you are playing Valorant, you need different parameters than if you're playing, yeah, Counter Strike, for example, as we were saying, or Fortnite. So This is the powerful layer that we are building on top of the LinkedIn for esports. And just lastly, what is cool, and maybe you have some insights as well from this, we are building the golden standards, and we call this is like the way to rank your level, and we want to be agnostic, universal, not depending on any IP or any title. So how far you are from the elite, or how far you, or if you want, maybe you don't want to become a professional, but you want to be better, and that's it. Or you are a content creator and you want to record some tutorials. How can you be better quickly? So imagine that you have your AI telling you do this, do that, very very specifically in the with your own goals. So this is what we are building today, and yeah, in 1 month more or less we will be live.
We have two questions from the same person here in the YouTube. The first one you kind of answer, but I would like that you answer again, like more specific.
Yeah.
Let's split for don't make confusing. What problem the company is trying to solve today? Because like nowadays you have a lot of websites, especially like for example, I'm going to say about Dota because I play Dota buff, that you have a lot of statistics. Where what problem that you feel that play pharmacy they are trying to solve?
Yeah. This is a very good question. First of all, here we don't want to. If you're playing Dota, maybe you need to go to that specific site for Dota. But if you're playing Dota and Valorant, you need to go to a different place in Valorant. This is or different channels, etc. But at the same time, normally, what it gives you, these websites, they give you a lot of analytics, a lot of statistics, or a lot of, but they don't go beyond this. They don't analyze event by event of your gameplay, because this is the problem that we are trying to solve. Is like how can I have a specific AI that is analyzing my gameplay, like imagine 1 hour of gameplay from the beginning till the end, because maybe you know how it is, right? You can trick the stats if you want. You can maybe win a tournament, but you can be hidden the whole gameplay under something, and then you avoid getting seen, and then you win. So this is a way of tricking it. So this is one of the problems, that the statistics or the parameters that these websites give you, they are a lot of data, but sometimes you don't know how to take advantage of this data in a good way, or it doesn't tell you specifically what you need. It's more generic. This is one thing. For instance, I met the other day in Riyadh. I was talking with someone from Saudi Sports Federation, and he told me, one of my friends, I think it was Dota, by the way, I have to check. He's the top one player globally of Dota officially in their title, right? But this guy has never won a tournament or a competition, never a prize. So how come is this possible? It is possible, as you know. So how can you become better? How can you have this AI coach? So this is one problem that we are solving, and the second problem is as I was saying, this infrastructure. You can be how can you be found? If your career depends on a person visualizing your Twitch streaming to get to know you, I think the system is not working as it should be. It's a bit broken, right? So how can we help these people if they want to be founded? If your career depends on your social accounts going viral, this shouldn't be like this. So these are some of the problems that we are trying to solve. Maybe I explained too much, or I don't know if I was
No, the
specific.
idea was giving you space to explain that. The second question of Maria, I think you have already answered, but if you want to answer again,
Yeah.
how does the play performance use AI in a different way of the traditional ones? Because like we said, you have like it's I'm going to say ask, but even give you one a feedback. Because for example, it's really hard to find someone who plays more than one game as a hobby. I'm saying like I play more than one game, but I know that I'm sorry the word, but I'm shit in all the games. I don't play any kind of game more like as I worked before. But nowadays, for example, if you even though if you wanna if you don't want to be professional, and but you want to be like good in a game, usually you play just one game. So what makes a difference for they come for your platform, then they use just one platform of that specific game?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is a good point. Normally, you play one or two games exactly,
Yes.
or you don't need to become, or you don't need to be a professional in order to become better, right? You say, I want to improve. So what it gives you is, again, because we trained our own AI models. This is not another LLM that you put on top. I don't know. Maybe it's a bit technical, but. You know that there are LLMs right now for a lot of things, right? For customer support, for whatever, for creating images, for, and you can kind of plug and play. You can take this LLM model and put it in your platform, and then there you go. Then you can create an image. This doesn't work like this. We trained our own LLMs, our own AIs, and we train them specifically for each game. So when you're playing, let's say, I'm always putting the same example, but Valorant, because it's one of the games that we are covering these days, it will give you specifically from your gameplay this event by event. It's not because you can have the stats directly from the game. This is not, this is beyond stats. This is not, this already you have. And the way of using AI maybe these days is you can probably take a screenshot of your stats and upload it into ChatGPT, for instance, or Claude or whatever, and then it can tell you, this means this and that. You can share a bit of information from other platforms, but you won't have AI analyzing a video second, frame by frame, not second by second, millisecond by millisecond. So, and of
Yes.
course, it is a bit different from the traditional or the other AIs. So when you upload, for instance, a 1 hour video, then you need for the platform maybe 5-6 minutes to analyze it, because it takes, at the beginning it was longer, the time that we needed, but now we are improving and we are iterating and improving it, of course. I think 5-6 minutes is, or seven, is more than affordable for a person just doing other things at the same time or uploading videos. But if it gives you, and it's very interesting to see, because we have done a lot of tests with real players, with real gameplays, and their feedback is really, really cool. They get surprised, so that is really powerful. Is And they, because it's interesting, you normally know your strengths and your weaknesses, but you don't know all for sure. So the way they got surprised, it was because I didn't know that I needed to focus more on this or on that. So it was very rewarding to see these real users, yeah, like reacting to the analysis. So there's no right now. Probably there are similar, for sure. There are a lot of solutions these days, but we haven't found the same specific solution. Yes.
It's amazing. Like you said, I feel that a lot of statistics that they have in this AI nowadays is for people show for, how can I say, more to bet, because like the KD or how many times you win. It's more like it's really useful when you want to bet. For example, for me, for example, I don't bet and I don't want to be a professional, so I always don't care for this kind of statistic. So
Exactly.
it's going to be really nice to have something that is making people improve in the whole gaming, not just making like some good numbers for the atmosphere.
Exactly. And maybe what I can add, Marcelo, because maybe as a player, what it's interesting is you will have the AI telling you, but at the same time, we will give the option for these players to connect with real coaches. So the coaches also, so it's also very helpful for coaches to have, imagine that you can have as a coach, instead of watching thousands of footage of videos that you can see, of course, you will also watch them, but you will have a better real support based on verified data, right? So that is very, and the same for the players. They can also have the support from coaches, so they can have both. So it's going to be very, very, yeah, complete, I would say.
Nice. I'm going to steal the phrase of my friend, which is "time is fly when you have fun." So you have just two more questions. The time is ending. The first question is: I understand the whole atmosphere of any idea of the play formats, but as an entrepreneur and a dreamer, if you have to look ahead, I'm not going to say 5 years because it's a cliche one, but like I read, uh, what had to happen to make you happy, to make you say like, okay, this company is working the way I want.
For me, yeah, I would love to make it happening for real. That okay, this is the standards, or this is the reference for kids or for the people in the industry to go there, to have their profile, to interact with others, to scout the talent, to get to know how to improve your gameplay, to find teams to find players. So I would like this platform for real to, and I feel we are in the right direction. This is from the feedback that I'm getting from professionals like you, for example, Marcelo, or from others. I think you were the one telling me, I wish this existed when I was when I was playing, right? So
Yeah.
I think it was you. So for me, these are the sentences that I'm taking with me, and of course we are putting them for real to make the so. I would be super happy if I see like kids all around the world using it and taking advantage of it, and for professionalizing their career, monetizing, but also to become better, to be more protected under the same platform. So let's see.
Nice.
I think that makes me happy. Yes.
And the last question is like, or usually to say the golden question, which is if you have to start again, or if you have to talk to someone who is starting, what kind of advice you could give to someone who is starting?
Starting in the esports world, you
Yes,
mean?
but in the career, not as a pro player, like in the career of esports.
Career in general. I
Yeah.
think for me it's what I was saying. Not only in, I guess it can be applicable to also not only esports but also to other careers. Just just start today. Don't wait until the perfect moment comes, or the perfect bachelor comes, or you wait until you have enough money to pay for, I don't know. So for me it's just try to talk with people, just with a little bit of, you need to be a little bit brave, right? And then start, because like you said, you will fail for sure in different parts of your path. Regardless, if you do everything by the books, you will for sure make some mistakes at some point. So just try, test, reach out to people that you would never reach out, like you were saying, Marcelo. Try, because maybe you're lucky and then people see you. So this is my advice. I hope it helps to to someone, but this is what is helping me a lot, to be honest.
Nice. So thank you very much, Laura. It was a pleasure having you. You usually
Likewise.
give you some minutes if you want to say where they can find you, tell you a little bit more about Playformance, how, when, or how it's going to be started.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy a lot networking or meeting new people, or exchanging ideas. So everyone is welcome to. I can share my LinkedIn, or Marcelo, I don't know how you do it, but please feel free to share my LinkedIn. I'm very active. In the other socials, I am not, but I'm reachable as well. So everyone is welcome to reach out. And for performance, if you're following my LinkedIn, I'm posting very actively, so I will keep everyone updated. But I can also share, because now I think it's possible already to join the waitlist. We have only 100 spots, I think, and I think I'm not sure if they are covered, but I think it's worth to try. What?
No, no, no. It's 99 because if you have 100, one is mine, so it's 99.
What is yours? What is yours? Exactly. Nice. That is true. That is true. No, no, no. You have one. You have one
No,
for
I'm
sure.
kidding. I'm kidding.
You are VIP. No, but I want to have everyone VIP for me. So yeah, no, no. But if not, if it's not possible in this, probably in 1 month and a half or in 2 months, these people have the chance. But I would highly recommend to join the waitlist. Yeah, everyone is welcome to ask me any questions again on about performance, about my career, or if they need feedback or support on UX, esports, or whatever. I'm always available for everyone. To be honest, I always answer everyone. I try, of course, to answer everyone on LinkedIn, all the comments, all the connect with everyone. So my pleasure. And lastly, thank you very much. Of course, Marcelo, you're super nice, and I think you are motivating a lot of people. So thank you very much for that, and also for inviting me. And I hope we can do a next one in a couple of months or in 1 year, and I will tell you where we are, if I am that
Maybe you
happy.
can do, yeah, maybe you can do one in Paris. Let's see, let's see, let's see.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
let's see.
think that is a good idea. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Laura. Thank you very much, everyone is watching. Just for everyone who is following Sports 101, tomorrow we have another guest. He's Brandon Henrique. He's a founder of a company for players in amateur gaming. So it's the same time, guys, 10 a.m. for Brazilian. So thank you very much, Laura. I'm going to close here, but if you could stay, we will talk a little bit about after. But thank you very much, guys, and see you tomorrow.